Live from the 412, it's Platt's point of view, y'all. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Platt, and this is Platt's Point of View, the 2021 college football preview show. On today's show, we'll talk Heisman candidates, players to watch, teams to watch, my top 10 teams, and more. So let's get started. My top 10 college football teams coming into this season. Number 1, the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide are trying to be the first team to win back-to-back championships since 2011-2012. Highly touted quarterback Bryce Young is a star in the making. Alabama, they just reload year after year after year. Number 2, the Clemson Tigers. These guys are the overwhelming favorite to win the ACC once again. The Tigers have won 6 titles in a row, 6 ACC titles in a row. This team is loaded and should be in the hunt for the national championship once again. Number 3, Oklahoma. The Sooners have won 6 Big 12 titles in a row. The Sooners probably have the most explosive offense in the nation, led by quarterback Spencer Rattler and wide receiver Marvin Mims. The defense should be solid. This is head coach Lincoln Riley's best team since becoming the Sooners head coach. Number 4, Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. Head coach Kobe Smart's team is ready to rock and roll this season. Quarterback JT Daniels, he should have a breakout year under offensive coordinator Todd Monken. Georgia has one of the top 10 defensive fronts in the nation. Defensive lineman Jordan Davis is an All-American candidate. Linebacker Adam Anderson is no slouch either. Georgia is primed for a major run this college football season. Yes. Number 5, Ohio State, the Buckeyes. Head coach Ryan Day hasn't lost a regular season game in 2 years in Columbus. The Buckeyes have the best offensive line and wide receiver core in college football, hands down. If whoever wins the quarterback battle gets going, the Buckeyes can make another trip to the national title game. Also, rounding out the top 10, number 6, you got Iowa State. Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 8, North Carolina. Number 9, Oregon. And number 10, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Watch out for Cincinnati. Next up, you got my Heisman candidates. First up, we got Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State. Hall led the nation in rushing with 1,572 yards, 21 touchdowns. He averaged 5 yards a carry. He had 9 100 rushing yard games. And he also had a touchdown in every game. And he's the leading returning Heisman vote getter. I like him a lot. Next up, Sam Howell. Been talking about him a lot. Quarterback from North Carolina. He finished 4th in the nation with over 3,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns to only 7 enters. He completed 68% of his passes. He lost his top wide receivers and running backs, but he should still put up numbers. He's way too talented, way too talented. Next up, you got Spencer Rattler out of Oklahoma. He started 11 games as a redshirt freshman. He had 28 touchdowns, 7 enters. He's completed 67% of his passes, threw for over 3,031 yards. Rattler, he isn't the dual threat like Kyle Murray or Jalen Hurts, but he's no statue either. He had 160 yards rushing with 6 rushing touchdowns. Spencer Rattler has all the tools, and he should win the Heisman. He's my pick. Next up, Kedon Slovis out of USC, quarterback. Slovis averaged 320 yards passing per game. He's a very accurate passer, 70% completion percentage for his career. Last season, he had 19 touchdowns and 7 enters in a COVID-shortened season. Under the guidance of new offensive coordinator Graham Harrell, Slovis should have monster numbers this season. Cleveland Slovis is very accurate. Next up, De'Aaron King, quarterback out of Miami. He tore his ACL in the Cheez-It Bowl last season, but he's expected to make a full recovery and be ready for the season opener against Alabama. Last season, King threw for over 2,600 yards. He had 23 touchdown passes, and he ran for over 500 yards rushing, and he had 4 rushing touchdowns. I'm a big De'Aaron King fan. I like him a lot. College football teams to watch. First up, you got Boston College, the Boston College Eagles. Notre Dame transfer quarterback Phil Jurkovec threw for over 2,500 yards with 17 touchdown passes in 10 games. Boston College returns all ACC wide receiver Zay Flowers, who was 5th in the nation with 7 catches of 40 yards or more. The defense creates turnovers, which they had 21. That was 3rd in the ACC. And 17 of Boston College's 25 sacks came in 4 games. The Boston College offense, they can hang with anybody in the ACC. This program is looking for its first 8-win season since 2009. Another team to watch, I like this team a lot, man. Keep an eye on the Arizona State Sun Devils. This is year 4 in the Herm Edwards era, and probably his most talented team since he's arrived. 15 returning starters. Quarterback Jaden Daniels is the most slept-on quarterback in the nation. He's very dynamic as a dual threat. The Sun Devils led the Pac-12 in points allowed and averaged the most takeaways and was 2nd in pass efficiency defense. The Sun Devils have a ton of all-conference candidates. I expect at least 10 to 11 wins. Watch out for the Arizona State Sun Devils this season. They're coming. Another team to watch out for, Ole Miss. Head coach Lane Kiffin returns for his 2nd season in Oxford with a wicked offensive attack, which was 3rd in the nation in total offense. Ole Miss averaged 556 yards per game and 39 points per game. Quarterback Matt Corral is primed for a big year, and he could possibly be the top pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. A solid recruiting class, which ranked 17th in the country. The defense should be better. Ole Miss should be a top 25 team before the season ends. Next, we're going to move on to college football players to watch this season. First up, you got sticky cornerback Ahmed Garner out of Cincinnati. He's a junior. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. Very explosive, lanky corner. He has great technique and thrives as a man-press corner. He's a 2-time first-team All-AAC. He's a Football Writers Association first-team All-American. He had 3 enters last season. He has 6 enters for his career. This kid is very, very competitive. Quarterbacks have a 35% passer rating when throwing his way. Ahmed Garner looks like the next corner is going to be nice. He's coming. Next up, you got inside linebacker Antonio Greer out of South Florida. 6'1", 225-pound senior. He led South Florida in tackles for loss. He had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's a second-team All-AAC player. Greer makes plays all over the field. He's a leader. He's a thumper. Watch out for him. He's good. Another guy to watch out for, wide receiver Josh Downs out of North Carolina. This sophomore had 4 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns in North Carolina's Orange Bowl loss to Texas A&M. This 5'10" speedster should establish himself as a household name in the ACC, and he should be quarterback Sam Howell's go-to guy at wide receiver this season. He's pretty fast. Next guy, he's a local kid, quarterback Phil Jurkovec out of Boston College. He's a junior. This Pittsburgh native will have a breakout season this year at 6'5" with a big arm and athleticism. He's destined for greatness. After transferring from Notre Dame, he had a solid first year. Like I said, over 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, 5 enters. He completed 61% of his passes. He already has the attention of NFL front offices. Stay tuned. Another guy got a tackle, Darian Kennard out of Kentucky. 26 consecutive starts, 79 pancake knockdowns the past 2 seasons. At 6'5", 345 pounds, he's probably the most imposing player in college football. He should be the first tackle to come off the board around draft time. Remember the name. Another guy, running back, Deuce Vaughn out of Kansas State. He's a sophomore. At 5'5", dynamic all-purpose back. Reminds some people of Darren Sproles. Deuce Vaughn had over 600 yards rushing and over 400 yards receiving. He averaged 7 yards per touch. And also, he can return kicks. As a kick returner, he averaged 20 yards per kick return. He should be one of the most exciting players to watch in college football this season. Another guy, I really like this kid. Quarterback Grayson McCall out of Coastal Carolina. The redshirt sophomore out of Coastal Carolina, came out of nowhere last season. And he was the main reason Coastal Carolina was a team that everybody was talking about last season. McCall is a dual threat. He was a force. He had 26 touchdowns to only 3 inners, over 500 yards rushing with 7 rushing touchdowns. This guy's a beast. He's must-see TV. I'm telling you, Grayson McCall. Next, you got my college football playoff predictions. I got Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State making the college football playoffs. And the national champion will be Oklahoma, and here's why. Head coach Lincoln Riley will have his best team since taking over for Bob Stoops. The Sooners have won the Big 12 6 years in a row. Oklahoma will be battle-tested in the Big 12. The Sooners have the best quarterback in the country, redshirt sophomore Spencer Rattler. He threw for over 3,000 yards. Rattler has the skills to not only win the Heisman, but to be the #1 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. For these reasons, I'm picking the Oklahoma Sooners to win the national title. Oklahoma's going to be good this year. They're going to go undefeated. Mark my words. Let's move on to the local teams. Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia. We'll start off with the Pitt Panthers. The Panthers are looking for the program's first season without 5 losses since 2009. Entering the 2021 season with senior quarterback Kenny Pickett, who has over 8,500 yards of total offense in his career. The Panthers return 8 starters on offense. Wide receiver Jordan Addison is a beast. Tashir Mack is coming back too. On defense, the Panthers lost 2 All-American defensive ends in Patrick Jones III and Rashad Reaver. But they have a few versatile, talented linebackers who return. Cam Bright, Chase Pine, Servecchio Davis, just to name a few. A top 25 finish would be great instead of a lower-level bowl for Pitt every season. I'm predicting the Pitt Panthers to be 8-4. A player to watch for Pitt, defensive back M.J. Devonshire, 5'11", 190 pounds. This former Aliquippa standout 4-star recruit transfer from Kentucky. He should add depth and experience to Pitt's secondary. He also adds special team value as a punt return and a kick return if Pitt decides to use him that way. M.J. Devonshire, he's going to be a household name before the season's over. Next, let's go to Happy Valley. Penn State. Head coach James Franklin is coming off his first losing season at Penn State. Quarterback Sean Clifford had 9 inners. That was the most in the Big Ten. The Lions had 17 giveaways, which was 12th in the Big Ten. Wide receiver Jahan Dotson is a star in the making. He's pretty talented. As for the defense goes, cornerback Tariq Castro Fields returns after only playing 3 games last season. Opposite Castro Fields is Joey Porter Jr. Yeah, that's Joey Porter's son, who had 33 tackles last season. He's experienced, and he should be way better this year. I'm expecting a big year out of Joey Porter Jr. The Lions look to build off winning their last 4 games last season. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions going 7-5. Player to watch for Penn State, you ask? Safety Jaquan Brisker, 6'2", 195. He's a former Gateway High School graduate, one of the top safeties in the nation. He's physical against the run. He's a big hitter who plays violent. Pro Football Focus has ranked him as a top 5 safety in college football this upcoming season. Jaquan Brisker is like a heat-seeking missile. Remember, watching. Last but not least, you got the West Virginia Mountaineers, WVU. The Mountaineers finished last season 6-4 with a 4-4 Big 12 record. This is year 3 for head coach Neil Brown. I expect improvement. The offense is a veteran group that just needs to be more consistent. Quarterback Jared Doggy threw for 2,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 inners. Running back Letty Brown ran for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Defensively, West Virginia finished first in the nation in pass defense, and they were a top 5 in total defense. The biggest question for the Mountaineers, can West Virginia rise to the occasion and be a heavyweight in Big 12 this season? I got the Mountaineers finishing 5-6. A player to watch for West Virginia, you ask? Running back Letty Brown, 5'11", 210 pounds. This Philly native had a breakout season last year, rushing for over 1,000 yards, 5 yards per carry and 9 touchdowns. He was recently named to the Doak Walker Award watch list, which is the best running back in college. Keep an eye on Letty Brown this season. I hope you guys enjoyed this college football episode. We'll see you next time on Pat's Point of View. Have a good one.
CJ on the